If there is a problem, for example, in the heart of a patient, how you see, I'm not a doctor, I'm not a medicine study, I studied technique. But because I had my economic company in Germany and we cooperate together in commercial basic with Gunther von Hagen, I cannot explain you how you know. You know better than me. I try only to advise you what is the reason. What was the reason that Gunther von Hagen started the case. At the beginning, Gunther von Hagen started the process in China. In China, Dr. Vladimir Chereminsky was his student, and he learned as the best from von Hagen's professor. And at that time, Gunther von Hagen was sick. Mr. Chereminsky is the advisor or the top techniker of von Hagen plastination in Guben, and the technique is under his hand. And the son of von Hagen's, how you see Rurik von Hagen's, is since about 5 years the management of von Hagen's plastination. After the first part, we will have again Skype. If 1, 2, 3 questions is available, technique, you can ask them. We try to bring the microphone, you ask them, and they will answer you. After the history of the first part, the Vladimir Chereminsky will explain you exactly the process of the plastination in the fabrication. That means you will be inside of the fabrication today and you see the process, how the people work, how is the process, and at the end you will have advising how can you teach with some specimens or products which till now 8 universities in Iraq has the products in different sections forms. And religion didn't allow it, told we don't want that you mix the dead people in the technology. But he told why? I don't want to mix, I would like to make the technique and the lecture better than before. Every university, every medical university need dead body to can make abduction, to can show the students. But the abduction is a big problem. What is the problem? You have a dead specimen smelling not good. The students afraid. And if you make an abduction, it is finished. You have to have another one. I spend my body to von Hagen plastination because I am sure that my body can change to plastinated, and these plastinated go to the universities all over the world, or to exhibition, and the students can 100 years learn something new from my body. If someone is ready, if he is dead, to spend the hand or heart or something else, if it is useful, why we are not trying to use the whole body? And what is the useful point for the people who is dying, for example, even especially in Germany, in Europe, in America, after the plastination process?
Okay, excellent. So I repeat the question again, and Ahmad, you can gladly speak English. I understand everything, so the people in the room can understand as well, because I believe they don't speak any German. So I repeat the question again: what happens to the polymers after we finish the plastination process? How do they rest? This was a question actually. So the polymers which we use is silicone, and Vladimir, Dr. Chereminsky, he will explain the process a little bit more in detail, but we bring it inside the tissue through the force of vacuum, and when we bring it inside the tissue, it is still liquid, and then it has to cure. So we do it with gas curing, and this curing makes it then just like regular silicone rubber, so to speak. So you have human tissue, but without water. So 80% of the tissue is water. This is replaced by silicone, and after it's completely cured, it is basically the same as the silicone which you have in your shower, you can say. I hope that this answers the question.
Thank you so much.
Hi, In the material, self-setting material? In the material you are using, is a self-setting material?
Self-setting material.
Did you understand that?
Self-reacting.
Self-reacting, yes. That's a question for Dr. Czermiński here.
Yes.
Yes, that's the self-reacting material, so that's a thermostatic polymers which bind the...
Brain tissue is a little bit more difficult, but in principle and also in reality, the entire part of the body can be plasminated. So all of it, there's nothing in the human body which cannot be plasminated.
There is not any part that you cannot plastinate. You can plastinate every part.
Hi.
Hello.
I would like to thank you at the beginning. And my question is, I worked on plastinated caliber in my PhD study. You took it to a very high level. I'm a big fan of your father, by the way. And my question is there any new technology that could make the tissue more flexible? It was such hard.
Yeah. So thank you very much for the compliments first. And we are constantly working on new tissue development, but of course this is one of the disadvantages and one of the big advantages of plastination, that after preservation the technique, the soft tissue becomes hard. So it is not like a formaldehyde fixed specimen. So this has the advantage that you can open body doors, that you can have a superficial dissection and a deep dissection, and it is not falling together like a sponge, for instance. So this is a big advantage. Of course, this can only be an advantage if things are quite straight and hard. So we use different kind of polymers for the different
Anatomy of new technology von Hagen Plastination. Rurik, ganz gute Bitte. Jetzt hier haben wir 12:20 Uhr. Und der Doktorand, der Chef auf der Universität, sagt, wir haben bis 1:30 Uhr Zeit. Das heißt, 1 Stunde 10 Minuten.
Okay. Ahmad, I couldn't understand you very well right now, but shall we go back to the streamer with our tour? Is that correct? Did I understand that correctly?
Yes, but we have a whole 1 hour and 10 minutes.
We have a total 1 hour 10 minutes?
Yes.
Okay. So we will go to the streamer right now so that you can have the tour, and then we decide how we do while we show you the tour, so that we are not losing any more time, yes?
But we don't make any break and try to use maybe the best of the streamer. The explanation of Vladimir is very important, and after that the guidelines.
Okay, excellent. So you go back to the streamer now. We show you the tour of the plastination facilities. We make no break. Is that correct? Because we had a break already.
Yes.
And we see that right after the tour, we have Dr. Czermiński speaking about the process of plastination, and I believe some of the questions that you just had will be answered by his presentation.
Yes, after that, after 1 hour and 10 minutes, we let it open a little for the question and answers.
Okay, sure, absolutely.
Okay, perfect. We change the streamer.
So, I think you switch back to the streamer.
Yes.
Exactly, and I go right there, that you can see me.
Yes.
There, so bye-bye on Skype. See you in 30 seconds. This is a short delay, as you know, that we have. This is the only thing which is not live. And you give me some time when you're ready.
My friends, if you allow us, and with the allowance of the chef of the university, we don't make any break. We try to go on, that you see much more from Hagens, because they prepare too much thing for you. And at the end, we let open for half an hour question and answer if you want.
Which you can see right now. Welcoming the visitors. Welcome. Right here, we show a short video which is explaining the history and background of plastination and how we ended up being in Guggen. So basically what I have just explained to you in my speech, the visitor is shown here much shorter. And so we'll skip this one and walk right through the first part of the plastinarium. And the first part of the plastinarium is here the history of preservation. careful. What we show here to the visitor is what techniques, what preservation techniques have been available before plastination. So, for example, here with these horse heads, you can see water-dried specimens, lacquered specimens, paraffin specimens, specimens which have been embedded in block, and then of course the most beautiful specimens and the most beautiful and best preservation technique there is, which is plastination, both the silicone plastinet and also plastinated slice. Yeah, this area, as I mentioned, shows historical plastinets, so these are all dried specimens from 1800, all wax specimens, which are similar to today's plastic models. And here, what you all know, the formaldehyde specimens, which are still used, but of course plastinets have a much better characteristics and many advantages over these formaldehyde specimens. Over here, we have the very first plastinets ever made, very small, and this was the very first whole body specimen, a small pig. Very small, very old, so what you can see here is that the specimens which were made 40 years ago are still around, still durable, but also you can see how the technique has evolved and developed. If you compare these slices to the beautiful horse slice I have shown you before, you see how much thinner, how much better the plastinets became, and the same holds true for other things. Here, finally, we show that you can basically plastinate anything you like, which is mushrooms, cheesecake, mud flat. It doesn't have to be humans or animals, but normally, of course, and the majority of the application is really human plastinated specimens. Here, we explain to the visitor the plastination process. I won't go through these steps right now, because Dr. Chereminski will explain the plastination process to you after the next break. So I will skip this here, but to the visitor we explain what the plastination process is here, step by step, because this is what you will see when going through the plastinarium. Finally here, you can see our products. So these are all the different specimens that we make here. There is a silicone specimen, bone specimens, we have corrosion casts, and also the slide specimens. And finally, it's not shown here, we also have anatomy glass available. Yeah, after this part, which is an introduction to the different preservation techniques and to plastination, we have here an area where we show to the visitor some information about body donation. All the specimens that we use stem from body donors. We have our own donation program, which is the biggest of its kind. There are more than 17,000 people within this program. And here on this map of Germany, for instance, people can see where donors are coming from. Approximately here is Guben, here is Heidelberg. Many donors still coming from the south of Germany. So the majority of all donors overall is from Germany. Over 85% of all of our body donors are from Germany. Yeah, after this short information about body donation, which the visitor gets here, we are coming to our what we call workshop, learning workshop. Let's get in.
We have 17,000 people
are shown
who are in the list of spending.
Both the showroom, where we explain the body functions with plastinets, but at the same time you can also see how the specimens are made. This is a very small area right here. This is how we make expanded skulls. This is very funny. Expanded skulls are made with the help of peas. So what we do is we put in peas through the pea-filled skull into water, and the peas expand and the skull breaks, and then we have a very skilled employee who is putting together the 22 bones of the skull in this way.
So it's an interesting but very, very useful technique to make these expanded skulls. Again, very small, mainly we make plastinates, but occasionally we do these expanded skulls as well. Yeah, as I've told you before, in these areas we explain the body functions. So we start with the locomotive system, it goes on, there's a nervous system, cardiovascular system, respiratory system, and we explain body functions with specimens that you can see here in the different showcases. So obviously locomotive system, here are extremities. For instance, I can't really go through each showcase one by one, otherwise this would probably take 5 to 6 hours. People often spend a day here, but this is what the visitor sees here, and it's set up in a way that people can really study here. So on these tables, which you see over there, we sometimes have groups and students, and they can learn from these plastinates, point to them, and yeah, this is really a learning workshop. It's not only a learning workshop, this is also, as I mentioned, and this is what is very, very special about the place, this is also the place where we really make our plastinates. And you can see here, behind the glass, where people are actually working, and here dissecting specimens. It's behind glass because these are still formaldehyde fixed specimens, so there are toxic fumes, and we have a ventilation system, and this is why everything is behind glass. But actually visitors are welcome to come in. So this is what is written on this sign here. Dear guests, please come in. The door is only closed to ensure the correct functioning of the ventilation system, not to keep you out. So each visitor is welcome to open the door, and they actually do this, to come in and ask questions. As I mentioned before, we want to be as transparent as possible, and this is very, very, very well received here. I won't go in right now, because you will see Dr. Chereminski when he explains to you the different steps of plastination. After the next break, he will be in there and explain to you the various parts and the various steps of plastination, and of course he will also be reporting from there.
We don't make any break.
This part here is our positioning department. Again, I won't go into detail. Dr. Chereminski will be here later on. This is where we position the specimens after they have been readily impregnated with silicone.
You see, the process is very complex. That is only a part of the process.
They are still flexible, and this is a very fine and detailed work. And as you can see here, this is the same view as you get as a visitor. You can really see how people are working. Again, ask questions to the people, so this is very, very, very unique about it. There's another section where we will cure the specimens, harden the specimens later on. So over here, you see some specimens which are almost finished already. So this is almost handover to sales. So for instance, this head here, but many, many more waiting here to be handed over to a university. Over there, this is our order board. So from all over the world, universities ask us for specimens, and this is the plan what we are producing at what point in time. Yeah, we continue. To the next part. Here, after all these dead people, we have some living birds. And we come to the next part, and this is our animal part. So, very, very impressive. After the first part, which has human specimens, here you can see animals. And very, very impressive, the giraffe you have here. Here's a lion with an oryx. And what you can also see is we set up for our presentations, which we will have for you tomorrow already. So from here, you will have seen all the different presentations tomorrow. Yeah, our animal part. Apart from the animal part, there is something unique and special here. This is a former and an original prison door. You might know that my father tried to escape from East Communist Germany, and when he tried to escape, he was captured as a political prisoner by the East German Secret Service, and he spent 2 years in prison. So this is the original prison door and to the hallway, and this is the original prison door from his actual prison cell.
The Gunther von Hagen was in prison because he was from East Germany, and from Nazis took
prison was demolished.
He was 2 years in the prison. After that he bought
prison was demolished. My father learned about it. And
the prison and bring in the Google to tell the people that I was inside of this room.
Newspaper article of him being in the prison and getting his prison door. So I don't think that there are many political prisoners who are able to have their own prison door in their own exhibition. Very unique. This is also a very, very fascinating exhibit. This is
very amazing.
Yes.
Here.
What this might be is a hint. It's a slice of an elephant.
Is a slice of the elephant.
This cut here.
They cut the elephant from here, and they show the slices here.
We made this in Guben as well.
Real
so
elephant.
Here in the original. Very, very, very fascinating. We see here the rather small brain of the elephant, all the different cavities, and lots of it in the elephant head is not actually the brain, that would probably be way too heavy. It's all air. And the ears, lungs, fascinated elephant slice, the only one there is in the world.
It is only one in the world.
And so, after this animal part, and you've seen over there from where we will have the live presentations tomorrow, we go to the next part. Again, some birds. We thought that among all these dead plastinates, we should have some living animals as well. We come to the last part, and this is the showroom. The showroom was originally set so that we have all different specimens which are available here. We have other specimens as well, so this is the final room for the visitor with a collection of specimens. Here you can see slices, thick silicone slices. Of an entire body, and you should have one with thinner anatomy glass slices present in Najaf right now. So this is another version. And over here, this is very interesting as well, there are different corrosion casts. So this, for instance, a corrosion cast of a human heart. Over here of the digestive system. It's still very fragile. We are doing research to make them more stable. So in the meanwhile, we have these embedded specimens. They are embedded, but the fine details are protected this way. We go on. I mentioned before, there's no way to get through all the different showcases and show you each and every specimen, because then we wouldn't be finished until this evening. But you should really come to Ruben, and we would very much like to welcome you, and then there should be the time that you really have a look at everything in detail. Sometimes when we have specimens from the Body Worlds exhibitions, in between exhibitions, here to clean them, like this specimen for instance, then of course we show them here in the plastinarium as well. One of the highlights of this section is here towards the end. A corrosion shark.
You see, we have the same slices of the whole
Among the various
here
other
in your room.
specimens. Right here, this is so much detail which is revealed by this corrosion cast.
That's a
Really
high.
fascinating for the visitors.
It will be very pleasure for us if you come to Germany to show you exactly these.
You see, these are really large facilities. We are now almost through the entire exhibition area, and the exhibition area that we just walked through has 3,000 square meters. The total facilities have 30,000 square meters, and so that you can get a glimpse of how big they are and what is where, we should have a look outside to give you an overview about the entire facilities, as so to speak, the look behind the scenes, because this is a part that the regular visitor is not seeing, but we would like to show you some parts as well. So here, this is the end of the public exhibition. This is the exit. So you go out here, or the visitor goes out here. We're outside. Here's one last highlight. This is formaldehyde. And you can see a hammer shark inside. And it's formaldehyde fixed and waiting for plastination. And since we had to build this large place somewhere, we decided to put it here so that the visitors can see it as well. Over here, this is the exit for the visitor leaving, and we are going back to some other places, and the other place is our viewpoint. And to get there, we will take the elevator. So this door was open for you already.
That is the outside of the
We will now
manufacturer.
go on this viewpoint. From there, you have a very good overview of our facilities, and we get there with the elevator now.
The people who came to Germany with us, they were in this building, at the top of the building. From the top of, up to 3 months, they need to finish this kind of process.
Acetone bath must be repeatedly
There's no change. They do the color at the end. Yes, no way.
happens several times until the laboratory test shows that no water and no fat remains in the specimen. The whole process takes a few months until the body is ready for the next step, which is forced impregnation.
They need about 16 weeks to replace the water with acetone. 16 weeks.
Essential and crucial step in the whole process of plastination. What we see here is transferring of the dehydrated body from acetone to silicone pulp.
Now,
Namely a vacuum chamber, which is filled with liquid silicone.
after that they put the body in the silicone, and the process changing silicone to acetone be started through vacuum.
Negative pressure is adjusted in such a way
You see vacuum.
that it extracts acetone out of the specimen.
You can see that the acetone coming out and the silicone replaced in the body. And when there is not any balloon, that's the process is finished. This whole body is replacing with silicone. You see the leaking of the silicone here is exactly what you see after that when we have the body here. Because the silicone needs time to be hard. Position. This is position now.
So this station is soft and flexible tissues
Put him to the left.
to the proper position. Final phase.
Now they fix the position what they want.
Dimensional understanding.
Even now is the body flexible.
And extremely
It's not fixed.
good anatomical knowledge.
2 Minuten, okay.
This is actually the last step where
Die Frage, an wen ging das? An Leute oder mich?
an anatomical
Mich?
relationship
Okay.
of the structures still can be adjusted and changed. After this step, position of the body won't be adjusted
1,30?
anymore. During process,
Okay.
which is the next stage, makes specimens hard and rigid, so that the refined structures became very stable.
The people who work here, they did studies with the Von Hagen's Plastination Institute to can do it as anatomists. They are not the normal technical, they are special anatomists from Gunther Von Hagen Institute. This is the yes. These people only a different position. You see here in German they write that at the end the plastinate is fixed and dry and permanently. That means unlimited, like a plastic,
Consider specimen
without any
as
changes.
a completely educational